Now let's talk about a remarkable new feature film. It's called 2000 Meters to Andriivka. It's been described as bursting with beauty and tragedy in its honest portrayal of the Russia-Ukraine war. It follows a Ukrainian platoon attempting to liberate a strategic village from Russian forces, and its director, a Ukrainian filmmaker and Pulitzer Prize-winning AP journalist Mstyslav Chernov, joins us now. Good afternoon, Mstyslav.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate your film. One thing I particularly appreciate, I just want to get this in, is that it begins with a quote from my most admired author, and it's Hemingway. What were you trying to do with this movie?
I'll start where you started with a quote. It says it is a quote from 1929, so almost 100 years ago, and it still stands. It says only by the end, only places or names of places had dignity, and that's, I think, what I am trying to achieve with the film, to bring dignity to names of the cities that have been destroyed, of names of soldiers that have lost their lives defending those cities, and those who are trying to liberate them from Russian invasion. It is just about as much about as modern warfare and current affairs and what is happening in Ukraine now, but also it's about symbol of Ukrainian resistance to this invasion and the memory of those people who gave their lives.
You made a previous film, 20 Days in Mariupol, in 2023, that was nominated for an Oscar and the BAFTA. What does this new film add to 20 Days in Mariupol?
Oh, well, thank you. It was not just nominated, it won BAFTA, it won the Oscars, and it was very important for us because...
Forgive me, I should have picked that up. Yeah, of course. Sorry.
No worries, no worries. And it did help us to find millions of people, the audience for that film, for the story of civilians that have suffered from Russian invasion, to show their lives being destroyed by the invasion. This time, and I have to say, I was shooting this film when we were screening and campaigning with 20 Days in Mariupol. So it was traveling from red carpets and from screenings in peaceful cities of US and UK and Europe to the trenches. It's a constant, like, two worlds colliding for me. And it was a story about Ukrainian civilians also, but who took up arms to defend the land that I call home. And again, the name, even the name 2000 Meters to Andriivka, it's about every single meter of that land that costs blood in someone's life. But that land is the land that I am connected to, and every Ukrainian is connected to. This is forests and fields and cities of my childhood and my memories. So it is also a very, very personal film.
You, of course, would have been in the middle you were in the middle of a war zone, obviously. What moment, because there's always a moment when you're making these films that maybe stands out for you that you will always remember in the making of the film?
I think that's probably would be a beginning of it. There are many moments, and again, the film has changed its core idea and theme when we were editing it, because some of our protagonists were unfortunately killed after we finished shooting the film, after the operation to liberate Andriivka. Some of our protagonists died in other battles, and that has changed the film and made it, and it became more about memory and remembering those men. But yeah, I have to say, it has been quite a journey since then, because trying to keep shooting and trying to keep telling these stories have been more and more challenging. The war has changed, the political situation has changed, and it's just hard to find strength to keep going forward. But then again, seeing these men going forward and fighting gives me strength to do so, to keep filming.
I understand that how difficult this might have been for you. This is your country. These are your countrymen and women on that front line. When you were shooting in 2023, did you think that you would still be seeing these events, this war, taking place in 2025?
There was so much hope back then in 2023. And that hope I wanted to show in a film, that moment in time. There was so much hope that this would lead to the end of war. And of course, unfortunately, it didn't. Now we know it made things even more difficult. And it led to then Russian forces not just retaking Andriivka, but moving on, taking other Ukrainian cities. That's and it's just every moment of that since those years was harder and harder. But interestingly, that did not change Ukrainian society. That did not make Ukrainians. I kept filming since then, and it just did not change the resolve of Ukrainians who kept fighting. And even more, less political support there is. I can see how while just traveling back to front lines and seeing protagonists of our film and seeing them reacting to the news that support is failing, of closest friends of Ukraine is failing frequently. I can see how that not undermines their resolve, but even makes them stronger, makes them want to count on the person who is just right next to them. And,
before we end, the film is called 2,000 Meters to Andriivka. Why 2,000 meters?
That's the path. So the entire film is about this small forest that is squeezed between two minefields, and that forest leads to a small, tiny village of Andriivka that Ukrainian platoon is trying to liberate. And the entire film is happening within those 2,000 meters that they are trying to cross for more than 3 months. And so those 2,000 meters is a symbol of the struggle, as a symbol of land, but a symbol of fighting. And it just helps us to show that these are not abstract numbers that we are talking about. These are not abstract names of cities we're talking about. These are real people who are fighting for them, and their lives is what matters.
Will we briefly? Will we see a third film? Are you returning?
Certainly, I am working on a third film already. Well, hopefully, that's going to be a film about the end of this war. But you never know. That's hope of probably every Ukrainian. So yeah, I would like it to be so.
Well, Mstyslav Chernov, thank you. And when you're there, stay safe. I know what happens in war zones. You can never quite tell what's going to happen next or where the danger's coming from. But these are great movies, and I hope that let's hope actually that you never have to make a third one. Actually, but anyway, thank you, Mstyslav Chernov, director of 2,000 Meters to Andriivka, and that'll be in cinemas on August the 1st.